Well, it's no surprise that the SEC are now starting to delay the Bitcoin spot ETFs. In today's video, we're going to be jumping down into Bitcoin, taking a look at what's been going on with the price action of BTC in light of these recent delays, and obviously share my thoughts and opinions on everything that I think is going to happen. As I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out. The link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? Let's jump right down into the charts to start with. We'll kick things off with the 1 hour here at Binance. So this is Bitcoin paired up with USDT, 1 hour Binance as our data source. As you can see, the market didn't really react yesterday to the news of a delay. So the delay kind of started to come on in, I think it was about 9 o'clock at night. So right about here, we actually saw a small rally upwards, just hitting resistance on that 50 SMA and then coming back down. You can see that we're also up against that resistance right now at the point of recording. The question will become, can we push above the 50 EMA? 50 EMA, 50 SMA. If we can, then we'll probably see a small rally there. If we get rejected here, expect further to the downside and probably compound down with some of the recent news and things that are going on. Smart money concept still tells us that we're in a bullish structure right here from a change of characterization from our bearish structure. However, it hasn't actually yet materialized as to whether or not this is going to get confirmation by having a BOS appear here so that we can rally on up into our target range, as we were kind of talking about yesterday. So all of that is still very much in play. It's possible here that we have a running flat correction completed on that fifth wave movement, just like so. That would still be our wave 4, which would be very, very interesting. And obviously our wave 5 is still up here, at 38,750 to 40,000, if I can get my words out this morning. So yeah, everything kind of price action wise is quite stagnant. Not much has occurred here. A little bit of volatility with some liquidity grabbing going on, and obviously up against resistance right here. Now, if we bring up the kind of the news and things like that's been going on, we can see that Bitcoin is facing a pivotal moment as SEC delays the ETF decision. So this is actually a reasonably oldish article, I believe. This one came out, I think, before the news broke. This came out yesterday morning. So yeah, this one came out before the news broke. Obviously, we did see previously, just on the 15th, that we did see a couple of ETFs kind of, or hashtags getting their spot ETF delayed as well. And then yesterday we saw Franklin Templeton and Global X spot ETFs get delayed. So this isn't unusual. This is the stuff that we've been talking about for the last several weeks, potentially even months, on the channel. And essentially, I don't put it past the SEC to just continue to kick that can down the road. We've seen a lot of FOMO and we've seen a lot of hope and hype about the ETFs on the channel, and we see it in the space generally. Ultimately, a lot of people are kind of pinning all their hopes and their dreams on this bullish market on the back of a spot or multiple spot ETFs for Bitcoin. And what a lot of people don't really appreciate is that the SEC can just delay even further into 2024. And that's going to basically build up all of this kind of this anxiety, I guess, for crypto price action, Bitcoin's price action, and considering the cost of living crisis and things that are going on at the moment, actually is going to create a bit of a problem for a lot of people who were kind of trying to time the market so that they can get out and pay off debts and things like that and are living paycheck to paycheck. We do see that debt is at all-time highs and savings at all-time lows, and we can just see that this is a potential problem for retail investors. So kicking that can down the road essentially means that it's going to affect retail investors really, really badly, and institutional investors probably not so much. So we're going to be very mindful that things here and delays here are going to be quite damaging to a lot of retail investors. Now, when it comes to spot ETFs, the other thing that we have to kind of consider here is something that not a lot of people are talking about. We talk about it a fair bit in our Discord, we talk about it in the walk and talk videos I've been doing, and that is that just because you get a Bitcoin spot approval doesn't actually mean the product is ready to launch. You're probably going to be a good 6 months delay in actually launching the product from the approval, right? It takes time. And that means that essentially it's going to take a long time before you actually see the additional liquidity that that product or Bitcoin spot ETF is going to provide into the Bitcoin ecosystem. Okay. And it isn't a case of, you're going to expect 200 billion to be added to your market cap. It's that you expect 200 billion over a period of time to be added as liquidity, meaning your market cap will probably shoot up $500 billion, maybe even more. Okay, so it's going to be really positive when it does happen, but we need to be patient. We need to understand that this is a long game. This is not something that's going to happen instantaneously. It's not going to be quick money and you're out. This is something that's going to take a lot longer. So seeing that there's delays here, this is not surprising to us at the channel. This is something that we've been talking about for a while. I expect there to be more delays. I expect that can to be kicked down the road, and I expect retail investors to suffer at the hand of the SEC yet again. Nothing there would surprise me. So when we take a look at the price action here and you say the way that it is holding up at the moment, this is okay, this is strong, but I think this is going to be short-lived, meaning that I expect our eventual moves up towards 38,000 to 40,000, and then I think we're going to see the big one get rejected, or more specifically get delayed. I think the BlackRock spot ETF will get delayed, and you're going to see an almighty crash from there. Okay, so until then, I expect a little bit more of a climb upwards. These kind of other spot ETFs, they're not really on people's radars. They're not that fussed about them. But I think this is all building up to a very clear picture that the SEC are just going to delay. They're going to find anything they can to kick that can down the road. Now, taking a look at this from a daily standpoint, we are still trying to target out that slightly higher move. We're in the diagonal here. So that fifth wave movement is basically coming into a fifth wave of a fifth wave, which is a 5-wave pattern of a 335. Ultimately, it's all very corrective, as we have been talking about before. We have plenty of momentum on the daily time frame, so we have that progression to the upside. Not too concerned about that. That's all looking okay. We are just looking for one last push upwards. The weekly and monthly, though, we are hitting resistance and we are overbought. So we want to be aware that this is not a good place to be for Bitcoin. So failure to hit those kind of $40,000 highs, $38,000 to $40,000, then that doesn't necessarily break terribly too much from the price action. It would be a breakdown out of its current pattern, but the pattern really has kind of reached its upper limit anyway. And so if we do see rejection here, we are going to be looking at moving down towards 30 to 31,000. That's going to be the obvious area of support to be found. From there, of course, we are going to be, if we do lose that, talking about 24 to 25. And if you lose that, then you're talking 20 to 21. Okay, and all of these are going to be really interesting spots for BTC. Now, from our smart money concepts perspective, we are still technically in a bullish market ever since November 2020. We've never broken that pattern on the weekly time frame. So that's okay. That's looking okay. It's not too bad. From corrections, we have pretty typical corrections back in 2017 bull market of around 40%. In 2021, we saw average corrections of about 21%. And I still suspect we're going to see a 40% correction here on the weekly time frame over a period of a couple of months or so. I don't think we're done just yet. I think the bottom is more than likely in, but we can't rule it out. But as you can kind of see down here, we have the curved line. This is connecting all of the low points in Bitcoin history, and we haven't really tapped into there. Now, if we were to kind of move down into this low area, we can tap into this later point if we needed to. But for the most part, I expect the bottom to kind of be in here. But I am looking for a good 40 or so % reduction in price, which will basically take us down towards $20,000, which will be, I think, a really good strong support area for BTC. Ultimately, though, I think we still have some progression to the upside to be had on the smaller time frames, but I am looking for weekly corrections, monthly corrections, taking us from overbought to oversold on the stochastic RSIs and start to usher in some of these lower prices overall. And I think those are going to be the last opportunities to get into some of your cryptocurrency assets at some really decent rates. Ultimately, I expect the SEC to continue to delay where possible. They'll use whatever they can to justify their delays. And I think it will be at the expense of retail investors as we have an inevitable pull to the downside. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Bitcoin spot ETF delays in the comments down below. And I think I'm going to leave the video right there. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.